Juve agree Arthur deal, Barca look to Spurs for replacement, Tiago wants Bayern exit, a transfer roundup, and today's great debate all coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host Matt Froelich. You are the One Footballers and this is the Daily News. So first up, and one of the most unbelievable bits of transfer news I think I've heard this summer, Juventus and Barcelona have agreed on a £72.5 million deal for midfielder Arthur Melo. There's so much to unpack here. Firstly, is he really worth that much? And if not, you can kind of see why Barcelona have been like, yeah, screw the rest of our midfield, this is definitely a good amount of money. Secondly, do Juventus need him that badly? With the current options they've got, they're probably ready to get some of their other midfielders. And lastly, why on earth are Barca actually letting him go? Like, they've got Rakitic, Vidal and Busquets. I mean, they're not going to sell Busquets, but the other two who are all in their early 30s. Like, why did you sell them first before selling Arthur? I mean, you Barcelona fans, you tell me. I was under the impression that at 23 years old and having played really well, he wasn't exactly going to be the one that Barca's team was built around in the midfield. I think that's more for Frankie de Jong. But why are they selling him? And actually, who are they going to get to replace him? I mean, there's talk of Miralem Pjanic coming the other way, but apparently Juventus want around £65 million for him. And Barca turned around and were like, there's no way a 30-year-old Miralem Pjanic is worth just $7.5 million less than we're getting for Arthur. Like, I don't even get it. In fact, this news broke last night when there was a Barcelona game going on, of which Arthur was on the pitch. Apparently last month he has told the club that he does not want to leave, but surely if they're accepting bids for him, he's kind of going to be pushed out the door. If it's clear the club don't want him and they're willing to accept a fee for him, Arthur might have second thoughts about whether or not he will be joining the Serie A club. Apparently, he is a big fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, so that may swing things, but he is also playing with Lionel Messi, so it's not like he's going from a bad team to a good team. But moving on, and if they don't get Pjanic, and if Arthur does sign for Juventus, then who are Barcelona going to get to replace him? Well, apparently, one of the options is Tanguy Ndombele. Now, there is some recent development between Ndombele and Mourinho, but it is well worth noting that this rumour has actually been thrown around for the last few months. Again, it's just a rumour, but certainly Barcelona, as well as a few other clubs, were interested in the Spurs man when he was at Lyon last season. And after a rather, let's say, underwhelming first season with flashes of brilliance in North London, it looks like he could move on. Now, this week apparently Ndombele told Jose Mourinho that he does not want to work under his management. This could be massive news because Mourinho is definitely not someone to back down or shy away and not say what he thinks. It's no surprise then that since the restart against Manchester United and last night's game against West Ham, with 5 subs per game, Tanguy Ndombele has seen absolutely 0 minutes. There really is something going on there, and I wouldn't be surprised if Ndombele does go to Barca. I mean, if they're going to buy him, they'll probably have to pay the amount of money that Spurs paid to Lyon because they want to recoup that just a year later. It's like £53 million, I think. It's a little bit cheaper than Pjanic. He's a lot younger than Pjanic, and if they can get him fitter and really get him more confident in playing in the starting lineup, I see no reason why he wouldn't excel in La Liga. He's in a brilliant Barcelona side. Not brilliant, let's say very good. They're not quite at that level yet. He's got very good players around him though. His forward passing and his exciting play really suits Barcelona. I think this one maybe isn't the obvious choice to replace Arthur, but it'd be a pretty good choice nonetheless. Anyway, aside from Arthur though, Ndombele wasn't on the pitch as I mentioned last night as Spurs ran out 2-0 winners against West Ham, which saw Harry Kane back in the goals. It is now 137 Premier League goals in 200 Premier League games for Spurs. Only one player has managed more goals than that for one club, and that is Sergio Aguero, who only managed one more with 138. But moving on, and to Tiago, who apparently wants to leave Bayern Munich, and rumour has it that Liverpool is his preferred destination. Now, I must stress that the whole Tiago leaving Bayern probably has a little bit more behind it, considering that he rejected a new contract offer. The talk of him wanting to join Liverpool is merely just a bit of media speculation, which I am no doubt adding fuel to the fire. Anyway, Tiago, as we mentioned, did negotiate a contract, but then didn't sign it right at the last minute, saying he couldn't quite explain why, but he doesn't feel 100% confident signing it. This obviously led to loads of rumours, and I think he does want to leave Bayern Munich. The thing is, Thiago's injured at the moment, and in his place, there's Joshua Kimmich, who for me is future Bayern and Germany captain. Like, no one is going to take his spot in central midfield. And alongside this, Leon Goretzka, who has gone from here to here. And he's also definitely been hitting the gym too. If you've seen Bayern since the restart, Goretzka has been on absolute fire. Him and Kimmich in the central midfield, doesn't look like Thiago's going to have a very good time at trying to budge them out of the starting 11. On top of this, Thomas Muller, not Thiago Muller. Thomas Muller is in such good form that they're not going to drop another player back into midfield where Tiago could fit into the midfield three. And they're looking to buy Leroy Sané, which means there's going to be more emphasis on all the wingers and the Gnabry's and the Komans and the Lewandowski's and Joshua Zirkzee's coming through as well. There's so many players that maybe Tiago thinks they'll have a better run of it at Liverpool. And why he thinks that, I've absolutely no idea. I mean, who on earth looks at Liverpool and goes, yeah, you know what? I'm going to get into their starting 11. I mean, to be fair, I think Tiago would be better than like Jorginho Wijnaldum. He's a better footballer actually than Fabinho and Henderson as well. But the way that those three fit into that midfield for Liverpool would mean he'd find it very difficult to go in. The thing is with Tiago, he's a deep line playmaker. He's not going to be like Jorginho Wijnaldum, up and down the pitch, covering that left-hand side when Mane runs forward, getting in the box, scoring goals like we saw against Barcelona and all these late runs. He's going to sit deep and want to play. He's not going to have the defensive ability of Fabinho, and there's no way Liverpool are going to play with a double pivot. So it's going to be quite difficult for him. Anyway, enough about that. Let's move on to a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news. So first up, and Portuguese midfielder William Carvalho has reportedly agreed a deal to join Leicester City. All they need to do is negotiate a fee with his club Real Betis. Crystal Palace are closer to signing West Brom's fullback Nathan Ferguson, who has rejected a new contract at the Hawthorns. Unbelievably, Jens Lehmann has put himself in the running to become the next manager of Dundee United in Scotland. And lastly but not least, Arsenal have dished out 4 new contracts in the last day. A 1-year extension for David Luiz, 2 long-term contracts for Cedric Suarez and Pablo Mari, and Dani Ceballos' contract, his loan contract, has been extended until the end of the season. So finally we come to this week's great debate. This is where the guys from the OneFootball newsroom pose a question to all of you for the comment section. You can also read their answers and my answer in the relevant article in the OneFootball app. But for the comment section here, we want to know who is the most inconsistent player of all time. So for me, there's so many to pick from. You'll see the answers in the app. There's so many answers of players who sometimes brilliant, sometimes a little bit shit. For me, it's Lucas Moura. That's probably because, you know, Tottenham are the ones I watch the most, so I understand more of Lucas Moura's play. 1 minute, he's blasting past defenders, scoring 2 at Old Trafford, scoring hat-tricks in the semi-final of the Champions League, and the next, he's just running into dead ends. He's the kind of guy that his skill, his energy, his pace, all this kind of stuff makes him look like a great player online when you've got like a highlights compilation clip on YouTube. But when you watch him for the majority of the time, he just doesn't quite bring enough to Spurs. These flashes of brilliance are less often than not. And the thing is, as soon as Spurs decide to change up the game or change up their starting lineup, he's more often than not the first one to come off the pitch. So there you have it. There is the great debate for this week. Let me know your answers in the comment section below and your thoughts on the rest of today's daily news. Whilst you're at it, you can smash the like button and click here or here to check out all of the other videos we've got going on OneFootball. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.